Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jatapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatang Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Purijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitangscha Om Jnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangolanghayate Girim Yat Kripatamahang Vande Sri Gurun Dinatarinam Guru Gaura Gandharva Govindang Gringanai Saha Vande Prasadatu Yesham Sabaramba Subankara Gaura Bhag Vigraham Vande Gaurangam Gauravaibhavam Gaura Sankirtanomatam Gaura Karunya Sundaram Guru Rupa Harim Gauram Radha Ruchi Ruchavritam Nityam Nomi Navadipe Nama Kirtana Nartanai Adadana Srinam Dantayar Idam Jache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padamboja Dulisham Janma Janmani Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Himabdivyaj Chavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Vande Nanda Braja Srinam Padarenum Abhikshnasa Yashod Harigato Gitam Punati Bhuvanatrayam. So we're reading from the Sri Chaitanyashtakam of Srila Rupa Goswami, rapidly approaching is the sannyas Leela of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Makra Sankranti, leaving home and taking sannyas, Nimai Pandit transitioning into Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here, Rupa Goswami sharing his eyewitness observations. In this verse, svarupam bibhrāṇo jagad-atulam advaita-dayitah prapanna srivaso janita paramanda gaurima harir dinodari gajapati kripotsekatharala Sat Chaitanya Kame Punarapidashor Yashati Padam. And he's saying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Punar again, Drishor with his eyes, I will see again. And so we last discussed the incomparable position of Svarup Damodar as the Chaitanya Lila, as a Chaitanya Ratna, the Bandari, the treasurer of Chaitanya. Everything is stored within him, all the valuable things. Kaviraj Goswami will say, if anyone knows anything substantially about Mahaprabhu, particularly his internal aspect, they must have heard it from Svarup Damodar. And we'll see that Mahaprabhu himself, particularly in the Antya Lila, when he's interacting with Ballabha Bhatta, who has some scholarly ego, and so he's directly approaching Mahaprabhu and wants to share with him his Bhagavatam interpretations. Right? And Mahaprabhu, what he's saying in response, a little jokingly, because Sridhar Swami is considered to be the principal commentator on the Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So everyone's giving dandavats to him, and that special recognition. But Ballabha Bhatta, trying to entice Mahaprabhu, says, my interpretations surpass those of Sridhar Swami. Right. So taking it that means he does not accept him. The Mahaprabhu, the dual meaning, the word Swami also means husband. And so Mahaprabhu says, Sridhar Swami Prasadi Bhagavata Jani, Jagad Guru Sridhar Swami Guru Korimani. I used to quote this for Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, and they would happily hear it, because he says, Sridhar Swami, by his mercy, Sridhar Swami Prasadi Bhagavata Jani, we can know the Bhagavatam. Right. Jagad Guru Sridhar Swami, I consider him the Jagad Guru. Right. And then he says, and one who does not accept the Swami is a prostitute. Like one who doesn't accept the husband. So Swami, saying one who does not accept the Swami is a prostitute. That's what Mahaprabhu tells Balabha. And also, there are many possible things that can be mined from Srila Saraswati Thakur giving Guru Maharaj the name Sridhar, Bhakti Rakshasridhar. Many, as I say, but in this context we can also say his opinion stands supreme above all others. It's one possible interpretation of why this name is being given. That his comments, his commentary, his interpretation should be taken above all others, be in the primary position. So when Mahaprabhu is telling Ballabha Bhatta, or interacting with him, it's interesting that he starts telling him all the different things that he's learned from devotees. He's saying, as a Mayavadi sannyasi, I can't know what is Krishna Bhakti. That's how he's presenting. He said, so I'm a Mayavadi sannyasi, I don't have the faintest idea what Krishna Bhakti is, what devotion to Krishna is. And I can't know that from this position. But then he starts going over a list. From Ramananda, I learned this. Right? From Svarup Damodar, I learned that. From Haridas Thakur, I learned the glories of the holy name. He's naming all these different devotees. And of course, this is their play. We don't mean to find fault with Ballabhacharya. But so then it's coming to him, then I should like to meet them. Like, he gets the message that really from them he can learn everything. And this direct approach with his arrogant scholarly attitude toward Mahaprabhu is not only not helpful, but disqualifying. So Mahaprabhu singing the praises of Ramananda, Svarup, Haridas Thakur, and others. But, so when we say svarupam, bibhrāṇo, jagad-atulam, his position is incomparable. And that means necessarily so, provable, inasmuch as you have Radha and Krishna. And Radharani's Anuradha is Lalita Saki. So that is a unique position occupied by her. And of course we say Lalita Vishaka, but Lalita is given special consideration because we're told by Srila Guru Maharaj, they're high things, but we've heard them when situated at his holy lotus feet. So he will say, Vishaka equally disposed towards Radha and Krishna. He said, but Lalita Saki not. She's a fanatical follower, adherent, promoter, supporter of Srimati Radharani. She's not equally disposed. as we hear in the prayer, Radha Mukunda Parasambhava Gamra Bindu Nirmanchano Pakarani Krita Deva Laksham Utunga Sohrida Vishesha Vishat Pragobam Devim Gunai Sulalitam Lalitam Namami. Again, Rupa Goswami, and saying her pragalbam, remember as one place says haughtiness, but like this bold assertiveness that could be misperceived as being rough. Rupa Goswami, oh, and we find it very sweet because she's Radharani's advocate. So she's not holding back in dealing with Krishna when she's Radharani's advocate. And even Radharani herself sometimes. So the position of Lalita Sakhi is also incomparable. So, and that she occupies the principal position in Gaur Lila. Because Krishna is in terra incognito. Right? That param kasyapi pranayi janam bindasya kutuki rasottamam ritva madhuram upabhoktam kamapiya rucham swam avavre dutim eha tariyam sa chaitanya devaskritirati taram na kriyavayatu. That's another Chaitanyashtakam of Rupa Goswami. We're saying observing Radharani, and particularly Viraha Bhav, her heart plunged into the depths of separation when the maximum amount of pressure is applied to the heart, to love and affection, then the juice that is squeezed out from there. Kutuki, this is aroused the curiosity in Krishna to experience her position. So that means her heart, that is the terra incognito, the unknown realm. As Krishna himself says, although he's omniscient by default, abhigya swarat, and independent, still he's saying, I can't estimate the magnitude of her love for me. How sweet and wonderful that is. And he said, and what to speak of experience that. So I would have to take her position. And so, in the absence, Guru calls Gadadhar Pandit facsimile, other names on. So he's saying, so absent the Bhama Bhav, Gadadhar. So, and Gadadhar Pandit's, again, unparalleled position, Radharani and Gaur Lila, that's another matter. And the worship of Gaur Gadadhar, as Gurudev said, the private bhajan chamber of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So Lalita Sakhi, who can maintain her composure when Srimati Radharani is, in the oblivion of Mahabhav and divine madness, Lalita Sakhi somehow maintaining her composure to assist her at that time by singing particular songs, supplying particular slokas, to, in some instances, amplify the mood or the sentiment, and others to give some consolation to the heart. She's perfect in every way, and in one sense knows more, because Radharani and that sweet oblivion of divine madness may come out of that in wonderment at what just took place. Svarup Damodar, Lalita Sakhi knows everything. So Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das Goswami, when he wanted personal instruction from him, which he gave, but he said, but because Das Goswami a little wondering, I came to be with you and you put me under the care of Svarup Damodar, which is wonderful. And Mahaprabhu was saying, but you don't know, there's some special reasons why. Because what I don't know, he knows. And they say, how is that possible? And he said, I can't estimate the magnitude of her love and affection. Terra incognito, Mahabhav. Svarup Damodar knows everything. And I need you to be, as he is my assistant, you shall be his assistant and learn everything from him. And that way you can serve me best. And when we say Svarup Damodar is the Chaitanya Lila Ratnasar Bandar, the storehouse of the treasure of Gaur Lila, of Chaitanya Lila, with his companion Raghunath Das Goswami, and the full wealth of Svarup Damodar and Raghunath Das Goswami transferred by Das Goswami to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and Radha Kunda, Govardhan, Vrindavan. So that position of Svarup Damodar, with this sort of endorsement from Mahaprabhu, and he's telling Ballabha Bhattu, what I learned. What did he call it? He said the prema, he's the prema rasa murtiman. Like Guru Maharaj is called Saraswati Thakur, Hari Kirtana Murti. Right? And then here Mahaprabhu was saying, Svarup Damodar, the prem rasa murti. Right? So, that Svarup Damodar, the advaita-dayitah, advaita-acharya, so dear to Mahaprabhu, and it was the Advaita who brought Mahaprabhu down, and Prapanna Srivas Thakur, who's the personification of surrender to the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. And he says, Janita Paramananda Gaurima, Guru Maharaj will say here. And he said, he showed himself as surrendered to the holy feet of Srivas. For everything Guru Maharaj is giving to him. Srivas, Sri Vasa, meaning Lakshmipati Narayan. And at the same time, the devotee Srivas, who is always surrendered unto his feet. Prapanna Srivasa, Janita Paramananda Gaurima. One meaning, now he's going Janita Paramananda Gaurima. One meaning is due to ecstatic divine sentiment in him. He is seen by the public as a proud figure. Gaurima, imposing, splendid. Nothing, incomparable difference he has got in his figure from the whole of other beautiful things. The pride of beauty, as if it's very clear in his figure. Right? That is Paramananda Gaurima, because Parama, Anandam, is experiencing the supreme bliss of Mahabhav. And he says, and in another, Paramananda, the sannyasi, the disciple of Madhavendra Puri, he was a staunch supporter of Sri Chaitanya Dev. And for that, Mahaprabhu felt himself proud that my Guru's brother, God brother of his, my Gurudev, Ishvara Puri, so he is such a staunch supporter and follower of Chaitanya Dev. Said, for that Mahaprabhu felt much pride that my Guru appreciates me, my Guru's brother, God brother, he appreciates me. This sort of high feeling was in him. Paramananda Gaurima. Like Srila Guru Maharaj, in composing the Pranam Mantram of Srila Bhakti Sudhir Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, he says, of the Guru Ganai Ashisha Shambhushitam. saying, Gurva Bhista Suparakam. He's fulfilled all he's saying, again, identifying what are his unique qualities, traits, characteristics. Okay? So the very first thing, Gurva Bhista Supar, everything his guru ever desired, he fulfilled that. That's the first thing he says. Again, the sequencing is also important. So he's saying, what is the first identifiable quality? Is that he fulfilled every desire that his guru ever had. Whatever was asked of him, he fulfilled that in total, complete. It's Guru Vabhisha Suparam. And the Guru Ganai, meaning here, as given here, that the Guru's God brothers are considered Guru. Right? Guru Gan, the Guru section. So he's saying, so not only did he fulfill all the desires of his Gurudev, of whom that is Guru Maharaj, and he's writing, composing it, the Guru Gan, the Guru section, meaning my God brothers, okay? Swami Maharaj, Prabhupada, Madhava Maharaj, Puri Maharaj, Jajavar Maharaj, Ban Maharaj. You know, there's so many, but I leave out an important one. I think I said most. Goswami Maharaj, saying, Ashisha Sambhushitam. He has their blessings too. You could think, oh, because he's my beloved disciple, then naturally I'm predisposed to praising him. No, not just me. It's like Guru Maharaj is very cleverly and perfectly glorifying him. He's saying, no, all of my God brothers, the substantial disciples, principal disciples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he has their full blessings as well. So sometimes Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj would say, because of my intimate dealings and familiarity with Guru Maharaj, on a certain level you can become complacent. He said, then when I would see these God brothers come and how much regard and reverence and appreciation they have for Guru Maharaj, he's saying, it would remind me and take my devotion to Guru Maharaj to a new level. Because then you can think in an inverse, oh, because I'm his disciple, of course I'm predisposed to thinking how wonderful my Gurudev is, and he's the best, and he's saying, but then when I would see all of them, they're saying it too. Not just me. So then my devotion becomes even greater. So he liked that about Guru Maharaj, but he also, here is saying, Mahaprabhu felt some pride that his Guru God brothers, meaning, who's his Guru in this context? Ishvara Puri. Remember, these are the disciples of Mahaprabhu Puri. Sometimes it can be said, the Guru is judged by who his disciples are. Like we see all these exalted disciples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Madhavendra Puri's disciples, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita-Acharya, Ishvara Puri, Paramananda Puri, Haridas Thakur, Ranga Puri, just all these, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, these are all disciples of Madhavendra Puri. So that he's saying, my Guru's God, Paramananda Puri, is a God brother of Ishvara Puri. So that Paramananda Puri, again, remember, Mahaprabhu is always singing the glories of the devotees. So he's saying, that's meaningful to me, that my Guru's God brother has some appreciation for me, makes me feel a kind of, Guru Maharaj is using the word pride, and here we mean in a good sense, like, Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, that Guru Maharaj's God brothers had so much appreciation for him and belief in him that was a source of pride to him also. That, of course, he's Guru Maharaj's favorite, but all these God brothers have so much love and affection and appreciation for him, and also recognition of the spiritual substance, the magnitude of spiritual substance that he personifies. So, and why it is, because we say, well, who is this Paramananda? Right? And Gaur Leela. And why is he so significant? Well, we find out, there's Krishna Leela, Gaur Leela. From the Gaura Gono Desha Deepika of Kavi Karnapur, saying, who occupied this persona in Krishna Leela, they've appeared in Gaur Leela in a particular way. Because Krishna, he's descending in a transformed position. Right? Radha, Krishna, Vikritir, Ladina Shakti Rasma, and he got Manvapi, Bhuvi, Vedam Gatoto, Chaitanyashtakam, Prakatam, Advaita, Chaikyamaptam, Advaita. Radha Bhavaduti Subalita, Nomi Krishna Svarupam. They've also are not appearing the same as in Krishna. He is Radha and Krishna combined, Rasaraj Mahabhav Duyak Rup. That the others, they're descending from Krishna Leela too. So we find out that Paramananda Puri in Krishna Leela was Uddhava. Right? So, as Guru Maharaj told the Shrutidhar Pandit, who had the entire Bhagavatam by memory within him, we can say it's 18,000 slokas, 16,000 extent, and Guru Maharaj, and he had some interaction, and that gentleman, Guru Maharaj asked him, oh, so you know the entire Bhagavatam. It was called Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Bara Bryahi and Saragrahi. One is carrying the burden of scholastic, academic, gyan, like a beast of burden. And the Saragrahi, Sar means who can extract the cream, the essence of that. Bhaktivinoda says, the Saragrahi Vaishnav. So Guru Maharaj says to him, oh, so in your estimation, who are the topmost devotees according to you? And that man says, Chatushan, the four Kumaras. Right? And what do you say? And Srila Guru Maharaj said, they are in the lowest position. Yes? And who is in the highest position? So Guru Maharaj uses two verses showing the Saragrahi extraction capacity. With two verses, he shows who are the supreme devotees. One, Natata Priyatama Atmayonir na Shankara Nacha Sankarshana na Sri Naivatma Chayata Bhavan. That no less than from the mouth of Krishna himself is saying, there is no one, Natata Priya Uttama, there's no one more dear to me. Not Atmayoni means self-born Brahma. It's a reference to Brahma. Right? Not Atmayoni, no Shankara. Shankara means Shiva. Right? It's a gradation. Right? Sankarshan. Right? Sri means Goddess Lakshmi. He's saying, none of them are as dear to me, Naivatma cha yatabhavan, as you are, my dear Uddhava. Right? that Uddhava, we hear in the Bhagavatam when Vidura quits the palace and goes off into the world and he's searching, he ends up with Maitreya Rishi, but he finds Uddhava. And it's after Krishna has withdrawn his manifest pastimes from this plane. And he's asking Uddhava so many questions about Krishna, as one would be very eager for this person on the inside of Dwaraka Leela and so many things, and he's asking about so many others. And at the conclusion, we're told, when just at the how do you say, just in remembering Krishna, right? Because so he's asking these questions that's causing Uddhava to remember Krishna. And in that state, we're told, his divine form is full of ecstatic symptoms. He's withdrawn from this plane totally, and he's in the upper world, in the Krishna world. Just by being asked, like, what should we know about Krishna? Please, tell me something about Krishna. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when they came to him, said, we're told in his final days, he is wandering around his house naked, oblivious to all external consideration. Right? As the Bhagavatam says in one place, like a drunk is unaware of whether their clothes are on or off. The pure devotees in a deep state of Krishna intoxication, you can say, they're unaware if their body is on or off. So it was his final days, he was withdrawing from this plane, and then sometimes someone would come to see him, his assistant Krishnas would sit him in a chair and drape a cloth over him. And say, this is so-and-so, such a, And then the people say, oh, Thakur, Bhaktivinoda, can you tell us something about Krishna Nam? And Guru said, Bhaktivinoda would say, Krishna Nam. You want to hear about Krishna Nam? And he say, Krishna Nam, and waves of ecstatic symptoms moving, playing on his divine form. And he keeps going, Krishna Nam, and he would fall out of his chair onto the floor, unconscious, to this world, so deeply conscious in the upper world. That was Vidura's meeting with Uddhava, that it took some time for him to descend from that plane to become aware again of this world, right? To answer. We're told when he was a child, Uddhava, he was so absorbed in Krishna Leela and Krishna's pastimes, his mother would call him to eat and he wouldn't come, because he was just deeply absorbed in Krishna Leela. No time for eating, or that's when he was a child. And so many things are told about him. But when he's wiped away the tears, descended in this form, and to answer the inquiries of Vidura, he's saying, what can I say? Krishna Dhyumani, the sun of this world, Krishna, has set. And now the world is plunged into darkness, and our house, the great Yaru dynasty, he says, has been swallowed by the snake of time. In the beginning of the Bhagavatam, it says, Krishnesva damo bhagate dharma jnani dibhiksaha kalo nashta drishamesha puranarko duno ditaha. That now the Krishna sun has set, the world is plunged into the darkness of the Kali Yuga. Where will we get direction? and guidance, said this Bhagavad Purana, it is risen like an 18,000 rayed sun to give illumination and guidance. But still, there's book Bhagavad, person Bhagavad. We observed the disappearance of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur recently. And Guru Maharaj said that at that time, the devotees, as happened, they're asking the senior devotees, what do we do now? Where shall we get our direction? So there was a Gabishta-nami Maharaj, elderly son, they asked him, and he's quoted it, Krishna Swadamo Bhagate Gyarma. Now we will get our guidance from the Bhagavatam. Right? Quoting this sloka from the Bhagavatam. And others turned to Srila Guru Maharaj and, what say you, Sridhar Maharaj? And Guru Maharaj said, we are not Sikhs. The Sikhs, they worship a book called the Granth Sahib. They worship this book. He said, we are not Sikhs. He said, we will get our guidance from the person Bhagavad, who can interpret the book Bhagavatam, who is showing the, possesses the greatest magnitude of devotion. Right? And under their guidance, we'll proceed. And you see, consistently, thematically, always, one devotee, they're going to a superior devotee to inquire and get guidance. So is the case, Vidura, Uddhava. So then Uddhava is saying so many things in response to the questions of Vidura. But then, and when he's thinking of Krishna and the pastimes of Krishna and how merciful is Krishna, he says, Aho bakiyam stanakalakutam jagang sayapaya apyasadvi lebhegatim datri uchitam tatonyam kambadayalum sharanam brajema. The sloka that's so much captured Pundarik Vidyanidhi, but Guru Maharaj used another term. He said something like, Guru Maharaj said, when Pundarik Vidyanidhi heard this from Mukunda, he said, the bomb burst. And so, but it's originally from Uddhava. So just saying, we're saying, who is Paramananda Puri? Why is Paramananda Puri so important? He's Uddhava. Krishna certified, Priya Uttama is Uddhava. There's another place in Bhagavad where Krishna says in the 11th canto, of devotees, I'm Uddhava. So, so he's saying that, thinking, of the pastimes of Krishna, he's saying that Putana, Rakshasi, a witch, sent at the behest of Kamsa to poison the baby, to commit infanticide, to kill a baby. Right? How? By taking the form of a beautiful nurse maid, right? As was custom then, so beautiful and charming and sweet looking that Yashoda and Rohini smile at her, and the baby, in there you can go. They're saying, this beautiful buxom girl, she can nurse Krishna. She's so sweet. And then she takes Krishna, and put her breast nipple is coated with datura, with poison. And Krishna sucks the poison, the milk, and her prawn. Everything. Until she's like trying to push him off. And she resumes this hideous, enormous form that Krishna lands upon the breast like a soft landing, so that he's not injured, and all the Brijvasis are thinking like, maybe we did something pious in our previous lives, the baby was saved. If she'd fallen forward, he would have been crushed. You know, the Jnana Shunya Bhaktas, as Guru said, when Krishna likes to surround himself with ignorant people. You know, wait a minute. We're telling, you know, the Goloka Vrindavans for the highest section of liberated souls. Das Goswami says, Yat kinchit trigum akikata mukam goshte samastam itat sarvananda mukunda sarvananda mukunda-dayitam lilanukulam param. That the insects are worshipable in that plane. They're in the liberated category. The bumblebees are liberated souls, singing the glories of the Lord to the astonishment of everyone. Right? We hear about that in the Bible, the king of the bumblebees madly singing Harikathan to the astonishment of everyone. And Guru is saying, Krishna likes to surround himself with ignorant people. What could he possibly mean by that? He means Jnana Shunya Bhakti. No knowledge of the majestic Aishwarya aspect. Just seeing Krishna, Aprakrita Leela, seeing him as a child, a boy, a baby, Shama Gopa, cowherd, Gopa Roop. So their devotion is not tinged or polluted, tainted by Gyan, awareness of his divinity. That's what he means. Krishna likes to surround us. That's fun for him. Not that everyone is keeping their distance, their respectful distance, on account of they can't get over the fact of his omniscience, omnipotence, majestic aspect, all those things. Right? This is addressed in the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamritam, that Krishna, that the natural flow of raga bhakti, of love, affection from the heart, if it is constrained by Aishwarya Gyan, this type of knowledge, it's disappointing to Krishna, because he's addicted to that very substance. Right? So, he's saying, and what was the end result? It was the liberation of Putana. And not only that, not generic liberation, but what? She achieved the position of mother. So, Pundarik Vidiniti, but here, Uddhava, he's saying, so, if this is how Krishna treats those who approach him with murderous intentions, then, as Vishwanath says in his explanation, well, what if someone's just neutral? He doesn't go for the higher part. He starts everything. Then just being neutral would get a superior result. Then what to speak of, there was some feelings of genuine, meaning passive, shanta. Then he's going, and what about dasyam? If someone approached in a mood of service, then we'd see a greater result in that. Then what to speak if they transcended that and had friendly sentiments to vatsalya, right? Paternal And then he's dealing with it in that way. They're always protecting Madhura Rasa because it's so likely to be misunderstood. So they're taking you in a particular direction, step by step, incrementally, so that you can understand the implications. Right? So that's what he said. Kamba dayalum sharanam brajema. Kamba dayalum sharanam brajema. Who is a more merciful Lord than he? Right? If this is how he dealt with Putana. Right? That comes from Uddhava. That is what made the bomb burst in the heart of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, hearing that from Mukunda Datta. Right? These are the substantial devotees. These are the things that move them, that bring this heart flow. Right? Without that, as a prerequisite, other things are out of the question, or just harmful fantasies, fictitious devotion. So that Uddhava is certified by Krishna as being more dear to him than self-born Brahma, than Shiva, Sankarshan, and Lakshmi Devi. So that's the first verse that Guru Maharaj. So he's established. Right, so from Krishna himself, he's saying Priya Uttama Uddhava. Right? So then, what is that Uddhava? We say, so Uddhava, Krishna has certified you. What do you say? Right? As Sanatana Goswami Prabhu is the Bhakti Siddhanta Acharya. Right? And his principal work, the Brihad Bhagavatamritam, showing step by step, incrementally, the respective positions of devotees of all types. Right? And concludes part 1 with praise of the Braja Gopis, which leads to part 2, the Goloka Mahatmya, which again concludes with the glories of the Braja Gopis. So, when Uddhava position is considered, and we know that Krishna, Dwaraka Krishna, and Uddhava, who is intimately, we can say Mathura Dwaraka, familiar with the queens of Dwaraka, Rukmini, Satyabhama, Lakshmana, and the others. Right? He sends that Uddhava with a message, a letter to the Braja Gopis, because they're feeling such intense separation from him. And we have to think about that too. Why, what were presented of Krishna Lila? There's the Kumar, with Nanda and Yashoda, little baby, toddler Krishna, then Poganda from like 5 to 10 or so, and Kishore, 10, 15, teenage Krishna, Gopa Kishore. Right? And then he is taken away from Vrindavan by Akrura. So how extensive is the separation that is there? And so Krishna, he's sending Uddhava with this letter to console the separation-plagued hearts of the Braja Gopis. And at that time, there's the Brahmar Gita. That's why that place where the Brahmar Gita is found is called Uddhav Kyari. Right? Identified with it. So it means this is the place where Uddhava delivered this letter to the Braja Gopis and Srimati Radharani. So that means that is the place where the Brahma Gita is spoken. And as we've told, considered to be a specialty of Srila Guru Maharaj and unapproachable by us. But one verse gives us a hint of some of the things there, where Radharani says, Yad anucharita lila karna piyusha viprut sakrida danda viduta danda dharma vinashta sapadi griham kutunam dinam utsrija dina bahuva iha vihanga bhikkhu charjam charanti. As he's saying, Yad anucharita lila karna piyusha viprut. If one drop of the nectar of hearing about Krishna enters your ear and touches your heart, you're finished. Your life is ruined. That's good news. You're saying, what? That our life is ruined by hearing about Krishna? Yes. What is that life? That's what he's saying. This entanglement in this one drop of the nectar of Krishna Katha. That's why Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, the only shortage, the only famine I recognize in this world is Hari Katha, Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha Durbhikha were his precise words according to Guru Maharaj. Saying, that is the substance. When those gopis are suffering intense separation from Krishna, when we hear in the Gopi Gita, Tava katamritam tapta jivanam kavibir iditam kalmasha apaham sravana mangalam srimad atatam bhuvi grananti te burida jana. As in the topics talking about Krishna, that is amritam. That is life-giving nectar. Life-saving, life-giving nectar. Fills the heart with treasure, invaluable treasure. It brings all auspiciousness into one's life and relieves one of all suffering. Right? And those who are distributing that in the world, they're the real humanitarians, altruists, welfare work, whatever word you want to use. Those are the people who are doing something beneficial in the world. That's what they're saying. Everything else, not. I say, well, that's an extreme position. That's their position. That people who are giving this, they're giving something meaningful, substantial, and valuable in this world. And like what will Guru Maharaj say, everything else is trash. We go, but what about trash? What about what? Trash. Only this has value. Right? What does Mahaprabhu say? Jari dako tari kaho Krishna upadesh. Just tell the people about Krishna. Either tell them what Krishna says or talk to them about Krishna. Everything else is a waste of time and energy. Right? So either you're doing that directly or how do you say, support, indirectly contributing to that. But that's what it is. Right? That's what they're telling us. And that verse from the Braja Gopis, when Mahaprabhu was resting after his singing, dancing so much at the Rath Yatra and went into the garden, and who we hear, Pratap Parudra Maharaj, Gajapati, that's Harer Dino Dari Gajapati Kripot Seka Tarala. He entered that garden not in the dress of a king, but in the ordinary dress, Vaishnav. And so Mahaprabhu didn't know who it was. Again, Yoga Maya. And he is massaging his feet, and he starts singing this Gopi Gita. And when he came to this verse, Tava katam ritam tapta jiv, and like Mahaprabhu jumped up and he said, Burida, they're really giving something. Yes, you're right. That's it. That's what those are the people who are giving something in the world. And because you're doing this and giving something so valuable to me, all I can do is hug you, embrace you. And that's what he did. And that's all Prataparudra Maharaj wanted. Really, he wanted to serve, but he did want the connection with the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, maybe not expecting to be embraced. He got the lotus feet, but the embrace, Mahaprabhu said, I'm so fortunate. What you're giving to me is this life-saving nectar, right, to sprinkle on the heart. There's all suffering is due to separation from Krishna. One in forgetfulness, one in remembrance. We're in the forgetfulness group. Right? And therefore we're suffering. Bhayam ditiyad binibeshitasyad ishad apetasya viparyayo smriti. That's the cause of our anxiety, our suffering, everything. What is the cause of the suffering of the Braja Gopis? Theirs is a type of divine, is remembrance of Krishna, not forgetfulness. They can never forget Krishna. But due to the separation and remembrance is putting the maximum pressure upon their hearts and squeezing out this peculiar, strange, nectarine juice of Krishna Prem, of the highest type, from the separation plagued heart. So, why did I say that? Oh, because of the Brahma Gita. Uddhava. Again, it's Uddhava. When we hear the separation zenith point, after the 100 years of separation, Kurukshetra. And that is, what is Rath Yatra? But just the extension of that moment. Right? Every year, Mahaprabhu and his devotees coming together in Puri for this. It's not just one of the pastimes or something they did. What does that tell you? They did it every single year. Right? For however many. Right? They all come from, and that's what they come for that, and then after that, they stay for some time, then go back to Bengal. But always, every year, where separation reaches its zenith point. After 100 years of separation, Radharani and Braja Gopis from Vrindavan, they meet in Kurukshetra, and that is Dwarka Krishna as Jagannath, Mahaprabhu as Radharani. That's one. And the other, what? Uddhav Kyari, Brahma Gita. This is what's going on behind closed doors in the Gangbir with Svarup Damodar and Ramananda. And what Mahaprabhu was telling, I learned this from Ramananda and Svarup. You should learn from them too. You should learn what they have. Right? So, and what is the point of discussion in that room where Gurudev renders Guru Maharaj's Banhi Garba and his Premadama Stotra? Gurudev calls it the firebed of separation. And elsewhere Guru Maharaj, golden volcano, volcanic eruptions of ecstatic emotions from the heart take place there. And what is it? How is it described in the Chaitanya Charitamritam? Uddhava Darshane. That's how it's alluded to. What took place when there was Uddhava Darshan, when Uddhava came? Well, what took place when Uddhava came? The Brahma Gita. Right? So that, and those things there that we're incapable of discussing. Right? Uddhava was the eyewitness for that. That is Paramananda Puri. That is Uddhava. And at the conclusion of what he observed in Radharani and Braja Gopis, that's when he says, the verse number 2, that Guru Maharaj quotes to that 18,000 knowing person. Asamaho charanarenu jishamahangsham brindavane kimapi guma latosadinam yaddushtajam swajanam arjapatam chihitva bejur mukunda paridim shrutibir vimrigyam. What the Shrutis, the Vedas, Puranas, all these other, what they're trying to indicate, what they're searching for. And saying, go in this direction, the search goes in this direction. He's saying, these Radharani and the Braja Gopis have got it. Why are you doing all this searching and other? They have that very thing you're searching for. Not only they possess, they own. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, all the Vedas declare that Krishna is the property of Radharani and her girlfriends. And Gurudev said, like, how can he say that? He said, because he has a view of the whole. If you don't have a view of the whole, then how can you know? Nigama kalpaturur galitam palam shukamukharam ritudavasamyatam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvibahuka. Told in the beginning, this is madhura rasa, is the fruit of the Veda kalpaturu. That is presented in this book. And what does Guru Maharaj say? Shama lila avalambam. And the whole Madhura Rasa pastimes are dependent upon her. Without her, there is no such thing. It's all dependent upon her. And when you say, well, what about everything else? Guru Maharaj says, all other rasas are clients or satellites of Madhura Rasa. And she is the Ujjvala Rasa Acharya. It is all dependent upon her. All love and affection, all service to Krishna is transacted through her. Right? So in this sense, she is everything to the devotees. That Uddhava witnessed. And what was his prayer? He's saying, so, asamaho, what is my aspiration? What I just saw? Like, thank you, Krishna, for using me as the delivery man, with the letter. Now I'm seeing maybe there's something else you had in mind. Whatever you said to them, I see now. You wanted me to observe them in response to this missive of yours. So having witnessed the Brahma Gita himself, he's saying, Asamaho charanarenu. Charanarenu means the dust of their lotus feet. Charanarenu hung sham. Latosa di. Lata. Oshud, lata means creeper, oshud means like medicine, medical herb. So, and why is he saying this? Because I quoted the verse in the beginning in the invocatory section, Bande Nanda Brajastrinam Padarenu Mabhikshnasa. Same thing there. Yashod Harikatod Gitam Punanti Bhuvanad. Their Udgita, loud singing, broadcasting of the glories of Krishna, purifying everyone. What does Guru Maharaj say in the first line of the Mat Pranam? Srimad Chaitanya Saraswatam Matabara Udgita Kirtir Jayasrim, loudly singing, proclaiming the glories of Jai Sri, Srimati Radharani. So, Uddhava, really he wants the dust from the lotus feet of the Braja Gopis. And he knows whatever pleading, they will never give that to him. They will never consent. He's so exalted. Krishna himself said he's Priya Uttama. They're not going to acquiesce. but he still has a strategy. Right? He's saying, so if I was a blade of grass, a creeper, then, and Vishwanath Chakrabarti Tagore says something interesting, always takes it to another level, and he's saying, when the Braja Gopis answer the flute song of Krishna, right, and then there's Rasalila, so he said, on their way back home, he's saying, they're so oblivious in the aftermath of the Rasalila. He's saying, they don't know what they're doing. You know, they've just lost it by this divine pastime. So he's saying, they don't know, is this the way home or that? They don't know where they're going. So Uddhava's thinking like, that's my chance there. When they're so oblivious, they're just walking here and there. I'll be a blade of grass and a creep and the soil, and then they'll accidentally or otherwise step on me, and some of the dust from their holy. That's how he's thinking. Right? And this is a substantial, the premaika nishta, Uddhava, Narada Uddhava. Right? So what madness it is for new recruits to voyeuristically envision themselves as super servitors in that plane when Priya Uttama, Uddhava, he's saying, the most I could hope for would be, atomic presence in that soil, where in their divine madness of oblivion, they might step on me and I could get some of the dust from their holy lotus feet. That's his aspiration. That's real, that's substantial. Right? That Uddhava appears in Gaura Lila as Paramananda Puri. And Mahaprabhu was saying, when I see him, I've achieved the perfection of sannyas, of religion, of this. Of course, now it all makes sense. Because what are all those things meant for but for this? That's what Narada is telling Vyas. It's all meant for this. You've got to take them in the direction of this. Right? Which means what? Yadamiyam mahima sri bhagavatyam katayam pratipadam anubhutam apyalab davideya tadakila rasamurti shamalila avalambam madura rasadi sri radha pada padmam prabhatye. The service of the holy lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. So how to get that? In conclusion, Prabodhananda Saraswati, yata yata gora padara vinde, vindeta, but Radha and Krishna have combined as one, as Gauranga. Why should Rupa Manjari, Rupa Goswami, be so mad in praise of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Because Mahaprabhu was Rasa Raj, Mahabhav, Duyakarup. They're combined as one. So Prabodhananda is saying, please listen, give, if you have anything, offer it to the lotus feet. Invest it in the lotus feet of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Vindeta bhaktim krita punya rasi. Krita punya rasi means sukritivan, sumedasa. That those of refined intellect will realize this is the opening, the opportunity. This is the place where you should invest all your serving capital. And what will happen as a consequence? Tata tatot sarpati hridya kasmat radha padamboja sudam burasi. Automatically, subconsciously, deep from within the core of one's heart, the Radha Rasa Shuddha Nidhi will begin to flow, and they will spring out of the soil of Vrindavan. That Uddhava, that Paramananda Puri is so much beloved by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's very happy that he likes him. That he has so much appreciation for him is a point of pride with Mahaprabhu. Because remember, he's the devotee, so supreme devotee giving his approval. You think, I must be going in the right direction. more than that, of course. Hari Haraya Namo Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hari Haraya Namo Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Garadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath. Hey Jai Go Jai Kori Charana Bandhan. Jaha Hoite Vignanas Abhishta Puran. Hey Jai Go Jai Jar Mui Taro Das. Kansavara Padarenu Mora Panchagras. Kandara Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanevas. Janame More Abhilas. Hey Jai Gosai Jabe Braje Koilovas. Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Korilo Prakash. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Sri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman. Sri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas. Purinam Sankirtan Koe Narotamadan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari Bo. Jai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari Bo. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Sateras of the Sri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govind Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Sabarikar Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Jiu Ki Jai. Jai Saparikar Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda Sundar Jiu Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri advaita-dayitah Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Govinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Sri Gupta Govardhan Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Jamuna Devi Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Om Vishnupad Vishvavarenya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Bimalavadut Maharaj Ki Jai. Sannyasi Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Bhakti Lalita Devi Dasi Ki Jai. Seva Vrinda Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande.
Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And Maharaj Dandavats from Shripad Vigrahanyasi Maharaj.
Jai.
Ram Sundar Prabhu, Tarun Prabhu Moscow, Dhananjaya Prabhu Russia, Vijay Krishna Prabhu UK, Rasnanda Prabhu Sochi Russia, Ajita Krishna Prabhu Russia, Lavanya Mai Didi UK, Govinda Nandini Didi Brazil, Bhakta Bandhu Prabhu Philippines, Tapananindini Didi USA, Arjun Prabhu Ukraine, Julia Dobritsa Ukraine, Nimai Priya Didi Ukraine, and Lila Shakti Devidasi Brazil.
Hare Krishna. Jai. Especially Srimad Bhakti Bibhrāṇo Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Rasananda Prabhu Dandavat, Praneshwar Didi Dandavat, Malini Didi and Orisk Dandavat, Jai Sripad Bhakti Sivan Rishikesh Maharaj Ki Jai, and Yashodanandan Prabhu Ki Jai, and the Bhazya Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Indumukhi Didi in China Dandavat, Aha, Hare Krishna, and her assistant, as she prepares to bring a devotee into the world. Hare Krishna. Brajalatika Diri Dandavat, Nityananda Das is here, Dandavat. Jivana Diri Krajnadar Dandavat, Chaitanya Nitai Prabhu and Vrindavan Dandavat. Vrivda Didi, Nizhny Novgorod Dandavat, Lakshmi Priya Didi Dandavat. Kalindi Priya Didi Dandavat. Janvi and Maheshri Didi and Janvi, we hope you're recovering from that said param padam yad vipadam nate sham. There's danger in every step in this world. So where there's a step, there can be misstep. Right? So she's on the path to, she's on the right path, the path of recovery. Jai Pavel Brun Prabhu Dandavat, Nadia Priya Didi and Harkiv Dandavat, Ajita Krishna Prabhu Dandavat.
And this is Madhavi Didi from Colombia.
Madhavi Didi from Colombia, Dandavat. Svarup Didi and Kaila in South Africa, Dandavat. Gaurachandra Prabhu, Nadhodka, Dandavat. Goran Nataraj Prabhu, Dandavat. And there is Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj.
Jai.
And Vila Govinda, with the Vila Govinda Bhakta Vrinda. Dandavat Maharaj. Parama Bhakti Didi in Brazil, Dandavat. Vrindavaneshwari Didi and Brazil also, Dandavat. Nadia Priya and Kharkiv, Dandavat. Anjali in Ukraine, Dandavat. Lakshmi Priya Didi and Kiev, Dandavat, and everyone else we got, I think. Harinamanand, huh?
Rasnanda Prabhu Kamaleni.
Where is that?
the here. Yes.
Oh, there's Kamalini, Dandavat, Rasananda Prabhu, Dandavat. Priyanana is here, Harinamananda Prabhu, Dandavat. Suleka Didi and Kiev, Dandavat. Paramananda Prabhu at the Govinda Farm, Dandavat. Ananda Svarupini, Dandavat. Hare Krishna. Astutera, Shata, Dandavat. All right. The Vaishnavas are kalpataru, their wish fulfilling. All of our seva aspirations can be fulfilled by the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhu bevacha, because they're oceans of mercy. Patitanam, and they're very merciful to the fallen. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. We offer our obeisance to all the Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Jai Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.